Hey.
Hey,
Welcome to another episode of Politics and Wellness. I am your host, Captivating Christian, and this is
your co-host, Mr. Credentialed.
Jigga Jigga Jigga. But anyway, hey, welcome everybody to Politics and Wellness. I am again your host, Captivating Christian. Welcome to Patty Duke. Hey, Miss Piggy, how are you doing? Hey, everybody in the balcony. Enjoy. Welcome. Mr. Credential, you got anything to say to the people?
Yes, hey, Patty Duke, Miss Piggy, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming through. Again, on this Thursday, we should have some entertainment for you guys to keep you guys active. So let's get to it.
All right. So today, I know everybody has been talking about the word or the thing. So today we will try not to mention that. Today will be one day where we won't mention that.
Yes.
So if anybody does mention that in the chat, everybody is to put up, I don't know.
And X.
Okay.
Yeah, just one X is good. If you want to
Yeah.
be animated with it, that's fine. But however you do it, just an X, not
Okay.
allowed.
Right. So nobody is to mention
The
that which
thing.
not shall not be named today. We'll be talking about other topics, maybe around it, but we're not going to mention
The
that
thing.
word today.
Yes.
I think we've heard enough, dealt with enough about it. I've got some news about it, about a friend of mine, family member. So I'm just like not in the space to even want to hear
Yes.
about that right now. So that's not what we're going to focus about. So of course we're going to talk about some politics on my end and some mental wellness and other things on Mr. Credential's end. Okay, where do I start? All right, so let's talk about this. I'm not sure if anybody's heard, but Joe Biden has an accuser, and she says that the Time Up has portrayed her. Her name is Tara Reid. She was actually working in the Senate. She was a Senate staffer when Joe Biden was in Congress. The former vice president was in Congress back in 1993.
Okay.
She says that she was violated by the vice president at that time when he was a senator. She, of course, says that the advocacy group Time's Up or Me Too disappointed her. She said she had sent out tons of information, plenty of times during the time that Harvey Weinstein's rape scandal was going on to try and bring attention to Joe Biden, but people ignored her, is what basically she's saying at this point. How do you feel about that? She has a time date of when she dropped off information or things of that nature to papers in regards to the information that she had about the vice president. But like I said, she says nobody, nobody really paid attention to her. People ignored her, so on and so forth. Now, my whole thing is, I don't know. I just feel it's like, I don't know. Like I said the one time before, um, I feel like at this point, if you're not going to hold every presidential candidate to that level that you did not hold the actual sitting president, then what are we doing?
Right. Right. I agree with that. I do feel that everyone should be held to the same caliber on every level. So now it's like, my question is, are they trying to stop this from happening again, the cycle from repeating itself, from getting people with dirty hands into the office again? Or are we now just trying to incriminate people to make one seem lesser than the other?
Um, you know, I mean,
There's
of
no
course,
honest, straight answer, but that's what goes through my head in this process. Like, what's the
yeah, no,
situation?
I mean, I get that. It's just definitely a thing of, um, hey, Sabrina,
Hey, Sabrina, hey, everybody that came through.
it's definitely a thing of them wanting to get him,
Right,
right? Like wanting to
right,
pin him, cancel his whole nomination, um, totally cancel him. But again, right? I was just about to say that, Armand. You set the bar so low at this point that if you are to prosecute this man for this back in 1993 and not hold the sitting president accountable, it makes the whole system look totally crazy.
Yes, I
And if
agree.
we ever felt like we were teetering on shaky ground, if that would have happened, I just think we're totally in a different space.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I think that the best way for me to leave the situation is if we're not going to go there with everyone. It's important to know the information that we can find on anybody, whether it's a presidential, electee, or run the E or whatever. It's important that we know the information abroad on everybody, but I don't think that we should hold that against them if we did not do that in the past with everyone else. Um, show me a perfect person, huh?
No, I was saying, hey, the Haitian princess, but
Oh,
go ahead.
okay. Show me a perfect person and a perfect candidate, then I'm sure you can find something wrong with them. So I think we should start looking less for perfection and start looking more for qualification in conjunction with the imperfections because everybody has them no matter who they were before or who they are now. They're just them. You know, I'm not saying it should be accepted and we should set the bar low because of what we're being exposed to with
Mm,
the different candidates, but I do think that we need to understand that these people are human
mm,
and it's best to get them to acknowledge it and see what makes them human versus judging them for having mistakes.
mhm. Right, and I totally agree with that. To answer your question, was this brought up when he ran for president? I don't believe she claims, and I'll say this: her claim is that she did try to bring this to people's attention when he was, in the running for president before and became the vice presidential running mate. But again, nobody was paying her any attention. How much
Okay.
of that I believe, I'm not particularly sure. I'll just say that. I don't know, but that's what she's saying, so that's what it is. I'm curious, Miss Piggy, why you can't touch this. I don't know. I'm curious to know that though. Um, again, I just find it to be a very slippery slope that we play with, as far as dishing out accountability. And
Right.
Democrats don't want to be the party, or I say shouldn't want to be the party, and where in which they are always kind of the ones being the ones always holding people to these very high standards. Um, and no blemish kind of records, which is an admirable thing, but at the same time, you're losing the realness of the person. Like, yeah, a
Right.
person can make mistakes, things can happen.
Right.
It's on how you take accountability and move forward
Right.
from the mistake. Then you just sit and cower in it,
Right.
and kind of, yeah, I did it. So what? Because that's what we get now. It's this whole. This thing will be over in a week or two, or it's only 4 or 5 people, and then it's this whole big thing, and now I don't even take responsibility for any of it because it's not my fault. It's the guy before me, and it's like, what is this on you? So I don't know.
Well, is it expected for him to be living in reality when no one has ever caused him to face reality?
Well, again, and that's the problem with that's the problem with everything. It's the problem with not only the people he have around him, but the people who are around in this current administration, that nobody, because everybody wants a piece of whatever they can get out of it, and mostly it's money, because it's straight from the government. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you having the keys to the vault to the bank. Everybody's gonna come to you like, hey, could you slide me a couple of dollars? And you gonna nicely look at this. I got here go for you. Here go for you. Now, what I need you to do for me though, I need you to, I need you to kind of go out there and tell your people I'm the best bank out there. So
Right.
everybody should put their money in my bank.
Right.
And the people will do it because, hey, you line in their pockets. So
Right. Right.
that's the sad part of it. But at the
Yeah.
same time, we all kind of fall victim to that.
Yeah. You know, You don't have to allow yourself to do that though. We if the standard isn't being set where you think it should be, wait a minute. All right. You you keep putting everybody's thing up there and
Oh, was you reading?
everybody, huh?
No, I was just because I lose it once we
Well,
go.
yeah, but you gotta lose some of them because it's like flying up there. You can't see
Oh,
it, and it's going back. It's like driving me crazy. All right,
oh, okay, because I
and
can't
I
see
can
it.
imagine how other people are feeling. So yeah,
Uh,
don't
I,
do that.
I will
One
stop
at one every now and then, but good
because I
God,
don't know how fast it's going on my end. It's going to fly.
very fast. It's going like.
Oh, gosh,
All right, so I forgot what I was going to say.
my bad.
No, it's cool. All
But
right,
yeah, well, you got your thought.
no,
Okay, so for you to gather that, I'll just say this real quick. I agree on mine. It's like the Al Franken situation. That's something that happened a while ago. Yeah, he shouldn't have put his hands on the woman. He apologized, but the Democratic call was for him to step down from his seat. He was a senator, um, to step down, which he did. And it's like, in that same breath, you ran a person who's running for president who's done some of the same things and admitted to it, and they let it go. So it was like, what?
right,
Like, why are we putting, granted, we may be showing, hey, look, we have more morals than the other guys, but at the end of the day, though, do we really? Are we being realistic? Like, yeah, these people have done stuff, but yeah, they can atone for it too.
right,
So,
right.
hmm,
And I think how we deal with with things and the candidates in this election is also going to set precedents for the things that happen in the future. So the things that are being exposed to people, and I'm not saying that the things that are being exposed shouldn't be, but whatever you accept now, depending on the candidate, is going to be looked upon to be accepted in the future.
right.
So you're
Very,
not going to be able to return back from this once we go there. So I think
yeah.
it's important to keep that in mind
But
when
that's what I'm saying. We've already gone there. That's my point. We're
I
even
know, but it's being overlooked. So we've gone there. So should we continue to go there, or should we continue to overlook it? Which one is the less of the two evils?
mhm. I don't know. I mean, because at this point, if you overlook it, then all right, cool. You could still get who you want in office and whatever. But then you have to start looking at everybody else. Supreme Court justices alike. You,
Yeah,
then it brings up Kavanaugh. Then you start to re-examine Kavanaugh's situation. You re-examine, this one situation, that one situation, all these people. I mean,
yeah. The
we're talking even about, Congress people that not so far that's been long and gone and passed on, but like even Kanye stepping down was because of a scandal like this. You know what I'm saying? It was like an inappropriate kind of thing, and it got out. The man was, old at this point. So it was like, really, what are we doing? But he stepped down. So it's a lot of things that this kind of set. So I don't know. It's very interesting.
yeah, it is interesting, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to play out as we get closer to November, and then after the election is fully
Yeah.
done. That's providing
Mhm.
that things go along properly, considering that thing that we're not going to talk about at all. So,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
however and whenever this thing happens, it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. But it's also a real dose. It's a dose of reality that nobody's perfect, nobody's without a background, no one is without mistakes. We
Right.
all make them on different levels, and that's just the fact of the matter. You have to
Yeah.
choose which ones you're comfortable with.
Right. And that's just the reality of it. We cannot um we can hold each other morally to certain standards, yes, but we
Right,
cannot, you know, be so self-righteous
right.
um, to hold ourselves in these extreme spots where in which those that have, more power to them, but you had to realize that they had to. They didn't have no choice because let there have been a blemish of anything inappropriate, and it would have been down the tubes.
Yes.
Prime example, the last president.
Yeah.
Um, so and that should, well, of course, that's not going to be a lesson to them because they don't see that. Um, But that should be a lesson to us. Again, that brings me to why I'd be so mad at the Gillum guy. I am like livid. Like you have no idea. That thing burns. Oh, it burns through it. In the words of what's her face? Trina Braxton, which said the marrow of her bones.
Oh
It
yeah,
burns me to the marrow of my bones. Like clearly. I'm just like, would you know this? As a person of color, even growing up, you've always been told, hey, you may have to work a little harder, you may have to da 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 because they may not see it for you.
right.
So I don't know. But that's it. I'm getting off my soapbox.
No, soapbox always starting off on the box always makes the slippery slope a little better as we go along the line. So it's all good. All right. So having said that, that ties right into what I want to speak on first off tonight is trauma and how you deal with things sets the tone for how the people around you deal with things in the future. And I'll start off with the presidential thing. Like we're setting the tone, what we allow, what we deal with, how we react to this, whether we vote, whether we don't vote. All of these things are going to have a trickle down or possibly even a trickle up effect with
Mhm,
making the choices that we make. So if you want to minimize and mitigate with your trauma as far as the election is concerned, I suggest that you do your research, you log on and pay attention to the things that Cap is saying because they are very relevant to this. But getting back to more of a personal aspect,
mhm,
trauma is something that we all spin off of. We all deal with it. It may be something that somebody says, something that somebody did, the way they treated you, and it
mhm,
sets the tone for how things are carried in the future. And that's something that we have to be mindful of because a lot of people are not aware of their trauma. They
mhm,
say, oh no, that's just the way I am, but why? Why are you that way? What caused you to react that way? What caused you to treat someone that way? What
mhm,
caused you to say that thing that way? Or what caused you to be so great? Some people become great from their trauma. It takes them down, but when they rise up and break that dirt and come up, you
mhm,
can't stop them. You can use that to empower yourself, but some people's trauma can also be used to belittle them. The
mhm,
right person can say the right thing about something that you've been through that they know about, and it could bring you down.
mhm,
So I want to focus on that and not if you have trauma, it's fine. We all do, but just deal with it in a way that you're not creating a traumatic environment for someone else. Whether
mhm,
it's your kids, whether it's your family, whether it's your coworkers, your neighbors, whatever it is, do something different. Like make a step in a direction that's going to make a change. So when people think of you and they remember you, they won't
mhm,
have a negative association that's attached to who you are.
mhm,
Because again, that's not what we're here for. If you're raising kids, if you have a niece or nephew or foster kid or whatever, you're here to promote positivity. You don't want to leave a traumatic, dark place with them. There are things that some of our people before us went through that we're still suffering from, that
mhm,
is still considered trauma. A primary example, the racial things that are going on among the election right now.
mhm,
So the picking and the choosing, some people have been picked at. Some people have never been made to feel like they were good enough. Some
mhm.
people have been just never been the popular. That's all a form of trauma. And you say?
I know I was laughing. I was agreeing with you, but laughing. Like, yeah, you can see that, especially here in these streets. It's like, as the people say, you can see like, okay, you must not have been that popular in school. All of a sudden, you got a little popularity, and it skyrockets you,
Went
and it's
through your head. Right.
but
You know.
because I can tell by your actions that you were not the most popular person. Um, I would always tell my mom and people that I was popular through situation. I wasn't popular like, people just knew me because they knew, what I did or
Right.
things I was involved in, but it wasn't
Right.
like, you know, somebody would say, "Oh, have you seen it?" And, oh yeah, I just don't go through it. Oh, everybody know you. What you be doing in here? And it's like, no, it's because of what I do, what I'm involved in, or just who I am as a
Right.
person.
Right.
Um, so I don't know. But my question was, what tools what tools can a person use, say, in dealing with trauma? What are some of the good tools to use to kind of bring yourself out of that, to use that trauma to use that trauma and turn it into a positive force for moving forward?
Very good question. I think I know because I've been through it. Like I said, everybody has their own trauma. The
Mm,
best way to develop a tool is to realize what you've been through. Sometimes it's going to be revisiting the pain of your past, and it doesn't require going to counseling. It just requires sitting back and thinking, like, why do I not like people yelling at me? Why?
mm,
Okay, think back a little bit, a couple years, maybe however many years ago it was for you, depending on your age. Mom used to yell at me all the time, and she used to fuss at me when I dropped something and it was so over the top.
mm,
So facing those things and dealing with them and just saying like, okay, well that used to bother me. This person is talking to me and they don't mean it that way. I didn't know how mom meant it, but this is how this person means it, but that just the meaning isn't right. Taking it and being accountable and knowing why the things that you're dealing with affect you the way that they do.
mm,
There's no cookie cutter answer, but to just face the reality of what you've been through, recognize it, talk to people about it, talk to your friends, write it down, start a blog, do something that's going to help you to empower yourself with the pain that you've been through.
mm,
And just take every little steps along the way over and over again until you get to a point where you feel comfortable, where that issue isn't so heavy, where it's a problem for you as much as it used to be.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
I mean, it's a lot of answers to that, but that's
Right.
just the baseline, I believe. And again, it's your trauma looks different than my trauma. So, how your resolution or how you come to a resolution is going to look different than my resolution.
Okay. I have two things. One, a quick funny story that speaking of trauma, I think the reason why I'm kind of even keeled and soft spoken a little bit,
Uh,
granted that I never really had a whole big, you know, how you doing kind of voice, but um, my mother, yeah, my mother was a yeller, but not not like yelling at you, but just she always talked loud.
uh,
Just very authoritative. So it was
yeah,
just like, okay. And then poor grandma, she couldn't hear before she really couldn't hear. Uh,
right.
she was always talking loud. You met her, so you know she's a loud
Yeah,
talker. So it was
yeah.
like I always felt like I was talking loud, even if I wasn't. So that's where that comes from. But my question to get back a little serious,
Okay.
do you think confronting the source of trauma is something important to do? Should you do it or no?
It depends. My suggestion is
I mean, these are
before
of course just suggestions.
Yeah, my suggestion is making sure you know the person well and how they're going to react before you confront them. Because you may be on an even kill or on an up and up, and they may still be stuck in a place where they're not willing to deal with it. And
Mm,
depending on what the trauma or the traumatic incident was, it's going to cause that person to be enraged because it's horrible to bring up someone's past, whereas though you're trying to get healing, they're trying to suppress it. So it really depends on the situation. In a situation like that, though, I would suggest maybe seeking out counsel first before addressing someone. If
mm,
it's a deeper situation, if it's something where, hey, you made me mad 5 years ago, I would suggest maybe you should talk to the person, but also in doing it, realize that not everyone wants to resolve things. Not everyone may be resolute. So some people may just know that they did and just don't care. Some people may care,
sure.
but just like I don't know what to do. Okay, that was 5 years ago. Get over it. But some
Mm,
people just can't get over it. They need resolution because that's what they need. But we have to understand that sometimes we can't get resolution from other people. We have to
mm.
resolve it within ourselves.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That
So
is.
it again, that is a very broad topic. There's no wrong way. I would suggest that it is a case by case situation and that you deal with it as such. And if you have any questions like that about a situation that you may not want to expose here in the live, you can feel free to email me and we can discuss the variations of your situation specifically and maybe develop a plan to try to deal with it.
Yeah, I know similar an ex of mine a long time ago when I was discussing my biological father and how I really don't care for him or his whole being. But out of respect of how my mom raised me, because that is, the person that played a part in me being here, to respect him to a degree of, not going there. I was like, well, I at least want to have the conversation.
Right, right,
And then from like, well, what if you had the conversation and nothing happens? Or you don't even get to have the conversation at all? What do you do then? And I was like, well, in my head, initially, I just thought at some point I would always get that conversation because it, kind of happens in the movies, it happens on the TV shows. You're always gonna get that one time to be like, "You hurt me," um,
yeah.
and not to make light of it, but
No, it's
not
good.
trying to be so heavy with it, but it
Right,
was just like I wanted to have that moment, but then I was like, well, good question. What if I don't get to have that moment? What will
right.
I
Well,
do?
we can peel back a layer a little bit. Let me self disclose because I've been there and some of it you are aware of. Welcome, Robbie. Welcome to the chat. Amon, yeah, sometimes calling does make a difference with confronting, but it's a case by case situation. You have to know the person, and you have to know that at the end of it all, that what the ultimate goal is to reach a resolution, not create confrontation. And if
Mhm.
sometimes people are confrontational, and if you know this person is a known hothead, if I call you and say the sky is blue, it's going to piss you off. That might not be somebody that you want to approach. If it's someone who is more like, I am upset with
I'm
you, but I can be
I'm
reasonable.
challenging, so I would definitely
Yeah,
approach the hothead like I don't care if you're gonna get hot about it. This is what I'm saying. This is what
right,
I'm gonna say, and this is what you're gonna listen to. And when I'm finished, you can say whatever it is you're gonna say.
right,
But there's always a but for me. Like, but I don't want to hear nothing about XYZ. The line I would tell you all the time that was I don't want to hear that because I don't know nothing about that. As a
right,
kid, I knew nothing about that. My mother did not raise me to be like, oh, this, like as far as negatively downing. Like I was the one, not necessarily doing it myself, but it was because it was evident for me. So it was like, I'm not doing that because this is not, that's not. Well, no, it used to be like this and it used to be like that. And my whole thing is like, is it like that now? No. So we don't
right,
need to talk about what it used to be like.
right. Well, you know
Let's do
how
the
our
present.
parents
I
were.
know, I know, but
At
it's
that
like let's live in
age,
the present for right now. But no, I don't want you to have that kind of idea or that thing. And it's like I get you, but I'm living it.
right,
You know what
right,
I'm saying? So it's like
right.
I get you, but I'm living it. So
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
That's important. Sometimes what we're living and someone else's advice based upon their experience is not going to always match. And I
right,
think that's why I
right.
say
Plus,
that.
we're two different people. Like we're two
Right,
different people. You being a woman, and I'm not saying all women, but mostly a lot of women yearn for that father daughter kind of connection.
right,
Um, on the male spectrum, it's not really the case too much. You know what I'm saying? It's like we cool, but yeah, there's always
I
a
think
level.
I think with that, and I'll go back to what I was talking about before, and that was going to be referencing my sperm donor. We're going to call him. Okay,
That's better than me.
so
Mine just eat that
um,
E dash blank 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 blank. But
what
yeah,
was I going to say? Slipped me. But
I was about
it's
to say,
important to know. At the end of the day, it's important to know what your desire is to get out of the situation
mhm,
overall when you're
right.
dealing with
That
trying to
is
resolve something, because resolution is not going to always look the way that you want it to look.
right. Yeah,
Sometimes people will move on and you're still stuck. You don't want to be the person still stuck trying to get
oh
resolution from
no,
somebody who has gone
no,
on up the road.
yeah,
So I said that, and I want to say this before I forget because I think this is something that is hopefully going to help somebody. But there was a time my father passed. I leave that there a few years ago, but there was a time a few years before that where he tried to reach out to me, and mind you, I was probably nearing 30 or at 30 at that point, and he wanted to do something that we used to do when we were kids, which is I love cars. I knew cars before I knew the alphabet, and he wanted to go to a car show. So, I called him back and I said, "Hey, listen, that's not something that I really want to do until we can talk about the things that you haven't done. And until you're ready to do that I do not think that this is something that I can do with you. I can't play. I need to be able to deal with the situation."
Right.
And I was ready to talk. I was ready to do whatever he wanted to do. And he did not call me back. Fast
Hmm.
forward a few years later, he passed. So did the resolution get did I get resolution? No. But what he was silently saying to me that I can't be who you want me to be. I'm not
Hmm.
ready to deal with the past. I'm not ready to deal with anything. I just want you to meet me where I'm at only, nothing more, nothing less, because I'm not willing to do the work. And you have to decide, huh?
No, I'm just grinding my teeth. Go ahead. I'll wait for you to
What
finish.
you have to decide what you want from people or what you're willing to accept from people. You set that for your life, and you make the ultimate decision of how you get to mold the relationship. And if it does not get molded the way that you want it to, you have the right to let that relationship take a back burner.
Ding,
You
ding,
know,
ding, ding. Yeah.
so
No, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, that's where I was. I was making the effort for my sisters, um, because I felt like he already knew I was not having it. Like, nope, 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 nope. I'm only speaking to you for them. Like that is it. Um, so you say run wrong thing, it might be World War III, but I'm a hold off.
right,
I was listening to a lot of fake stories and a lot of, mhm, mhm, mhm,
right,
mhm, mhm. So he was like, I want you to come to me. You got to come to me. I don't got to say nothing to you. Blah, blah, blah. Player. I don't know who you think
yep,
you're talking
yep,
to. And that whole, that story. And I was like,
yeah, yeah,
mm-mm,
yeah.
mm,
And and I think it's in well before I say that, Patty Duke, you're right. We do yearn for that connection, but sometimes that connection it just won't spark. It won't connect. It's not like a magnet.
mm-mm.
It won't stick. And that's when we have to know how to find a way to move on.
Yeah.
Um, but I forgot what I was going to say is this situation. It's just the fact is that we don't know why people do the things that they do.
Yeah.
And in their mind, in that state of psychosis, they may think that what they're doing is right, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, whether it's
Mm.
just lost. I'm still stuck in the 80s and I'm doing everything right. The way that you address them or the level in which you address them, you think you're talking to them on your level, but when you're speaking to them on the level in which they are. So they may not even hear what you're saying to them. They may
Oh,
not even comprehend. Hmm.
yeah, I get that, but I have a huge issue with somebody telling me, and I'm sorry to be taking up your time
No,
here.
no, no, you're good.
I have
'Cause
an issue with
it's
somebody
help.
telling me to get over it. Like, oh, just get over it and move right along. And then want me to address you like, uh, what was that? Sylvester's son, the cat, and the little cat
Oh, yeah,
Sylvester,
I
they
know
had
what
the little
you're
son. He's like, Father, Father,
right,
you want me to do all that? I'm not doing that. Your
right,
name is E dash, and that's your name.
right, right.
You're not getting that whole, oh, dearest father, how have you're not getting it. So you're not getting that.
Yeah, yeah,
So you don't want to accept that.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
not my problem. You don't
yeah,
want to have the conversation and you don't want to accept that I'm not just going to be like, oh, you found me. I found you after
right,
all this
right,
long time.
right, right.
Have a seat,
Right,
enjoy the seat. And that's all I can tell
yep, that's all you have a stadium for. Pick whichever one is comfortable for you. But thank you, Haitian. I'm just trying to have a little transparency here so I can help somebody along the way
Yeah,
because
just trying to,
expand the horizons here. still yearn for that connection, and my father has been dead for over 30 years. First off, I'm sorry to hear that, Patty Duke,
Yeah,
but
definitely sorry.
you know, it is a connection that no one can give you but that person. Whether it's your mom, no matter who it was, we all have that little kid inside of us. I had to learn myself that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
still have
agreed.
that little kid in me that still
Mhm.
wants what that little kid wants because he never got it. You
Right,
know, so it's important to grant the people around you the opportunity that you can because look at the thing that we're not going to talk about right now going on,
right,
and something can come along today, tomorrow, or next year
right,
and can end your life.
right.
And I really just want people to be on an accord. I'm not saying go around and apologize because there's some people that you
But
unfortunately
you
just
know,
can't get right with.
you said what you said and you meant it.
Yeah,
And I got a list, but I will say that I was blessed to have a stepfather who I call my father, who raised me and um, was there. I mean, the connection was deeper because he was my oldest brother's father, actual father. So, and my mom's first, boyfriend, I guess, and her whatever. But um the connection was deeper there, but I was able to get those things that I would have missed. I guess that's the reason why part two that I'm like, man, I don't need nothing from you. Like I'm good. Like
yeah,
all
yeah.
that,
It's
the shape,
resentment.
the tie, all that stuff. If he didn't teach me that, I learned it, and whatever he knew about whatever he taught me. So it
Right,
was like, and at first, yes, that resentment was there. You know what I'm saying? Like that took a while to get because it was times where early on, uh, he would try, and it'd be like, mother be like, "Oh, come in the room." Why?
right,
Come in the room.
right,
Here, pick up the phone. Who's on the phone? Just answer the phone.
right, right.
And it'd be like, I'm not. The first word come out of him, and I didn't need to hear anything else because I knew instantly who the voice was. And I was like, they ain't doing it.
Yeah,
Ain't doing
yeah,
it. No, you can't be like that. What if something happens? Well, it's just gonna happen.
right.
So it took a while to get me to till I was 19, and I came to a place where it was like, okay, let me hear what you have to say
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I don't need nothing from you. I'll listen to what you have to say. And even what you were saying was like, the whole making excuses. And it's like, dude, I was a child. I don't know nothing about that. So even
right.
if you showed me a little something, and that's what I say to a lot of my friends that are fathers, that you worrying about making sure that you get the best gift or the biggest TV or the thing. And it's like, to your child, none of that matters.
At all, at
You
all.
can walk down the street and go get some ice cream and come back.
Right.
And that could be the whole highlight of everything that they will remember about you, from you, for you. All
Exactly.
that stuff that you think you got to go out and get to appease, minute. I mean, of all
Exactly.
the things that my mom, for a while, in being with my stepdad, but she still ran her household because it was her house,
Right.
and all the things that she uh, gave us, even in her complaint, like, I'm not paying that money for that. And then you come to find out you get it. You're like, oh, thanks. But you had to keep your grades or, stuff like that. But
Right.
just the simple fact that she was able to do it. And the most important things that I remember are those conversations like, hey, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. Going to
Yeah.
get pizza and just talking about life. Like, hey, I don't want you out here looking like your uncle. You see
Right.
your uncle?
Right.
The mess.
Right.
Don't be a mess. What? Like I know, but it's like, don't
Yeah.
be a mess. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to be responsible. You need to take care of it. And as a man, you need to do this. And I don't want to hear you doing this, and I don't want to see you doing that because men don't do that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay. And those are the things I remember and carry the most. Yeah, I wanted to curse a lot of people out, but
Yeah.
I also hear my mom calling my full name, like,
Yeah.
what did you just say? Who are you talking to?
Right. Right.
And you're like, nobody.
Right. Right.
Like, like I tell you to this day, if I get into something with somebody and I would call my mom like, "Ma, can you believe this supervisor was like," and she'd be like, "Mm-hmm, mm-hmm." And what did you say? I ain't say nothing. What did you say? I ain't
Right.
say nothing. What'd you say? Well, I mean, I did just tell them this, that, the other, blah, 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 blah. And she'd be like, "Yeah, I know you said something because you can't help yourself." But I
Yeah,
get that in saying, in knowing your child and having that relationship to where in which you know your child. You may
right,
not know everything about them because, of course, as they grow, things change. But you know the essence of who they are, and
right,
you develop that to where in which there's certain things you know they won't go there with you,
right, right,
regardless
right,
of the level.
right.
Yeah.
I want to go back. Welcome, and I hope you continue to enjoy it, Travis. Welcome, Simply. As you get older, you realize that your family members are flawed adults. That is very true, but I wish they would realize it and deal with that themselves, though, Haitian, because half the problems that we have started with
Them
them
from
being
them
kids from when
being
they
poor
were
adults, right?
kids. So I
Half the
wish that,
that
uh,
we get stem from them being flawed adults. But
yeah,
by the time we become adults and kind of not necessarily call them out on their flawedness, but to be able to acknowledge it and go, "Hey, you know you're pretty flawed." It's like you're attacking me. I'm not attacking you. I'm just saying I
mhm,
really didn't notice how flawed you were until
yeah,
this moment. Like,
exactly, exactly. And
come on,
I'm gonna say this, and then unless somebody, because we can go on this all night long.
all night long. Yeah.
I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna move on. Is that give if your child is asking for something, not materialistically, but if you're paying attention to your child and your child is asking for something behaviorally, or if they're being shy, give them a little bit of time, give them a little bit of attention, give them something, implant in them something that they will be able to carry with them. There are things that people have said to me far deeper and have lasted with me far longer than I can remember that toy. Although I do still have some toys and things from my childhood, but there are so many things that are just about sitting down having a conversation. You know, one of my things tonight, which I'll say now, is if you're staying in, actually take the time to talk. If you're working from home or if you're out of work, and I hope that you're finding a way along with missing that, but take the time to talk to your family, take the time to talk to your friends and call them and ask them things, ask them questions, because right now we have more time than what we used to. And I know some of us are essential and we do have to go out, but still, even on the weekend when things are just dialed back, take every opportunity to step
Mhm.
up and step out from what you're normally used to, because your future will thank you, your future children, your future friends, everyone that could be involved in the future long after you go, if you give
Mhm.
them something, they will thank you so much,
Right.
so much. So I just wanted to say that, and I know I opened up a very large topic, but I hope that we have helped someone with the idea and coping with trauma, because we all have it, and that's why we can talk about it all day long. But
Right.
I did read everybody's feedback, and thank you so much for engaging with us.
Yes. Thank you.
And yeah, well, you know, your mother must have known something, Armand, so she might have done you a favor, even though it doesn't may not seem like it. And that's a whole nother conversation. But
Mhm.
you know, just if your mom is still alive, just appreciate her while she's here, and if she is not, just appreciate her in the spirit realm for what she
Mhm.
did for you, in spite of who your father was or was not. So
Mhm.
difficult subject, but obviously, I hope that you're doing well and you made it, so that's all that matters.
Right. Um, something a little outside of the politic realm.
Okay.
There's a YouTube series, mini series that everybody's talking about, The Tiger King. Um, I seen it. I mean,
Is it
I just it's like redneck central for me. I mean, and no offense to those who are, of the other persuasion. Love you all. I'm just saying it was just a little redneck central for me. It was entertaining to a degree, but it was also a lot of, in the words of Jay Wilson and I guess Funky Danive, a lot of foo la la going on. Um, that it was just crazy. But anyway, I brought that up only because article that the Florida sheriff is saying that Carol Baskin refused the polygraph test, but everyone else in the documented uh, web series or docu series did agree to a polygraph test. But for those who haven't seen it, um, want to put a disclaimer out. It's probably going to be a bit of a telling the story, but oh well, you could still go back and watch it. It is kind of sort of entertaining, but we ain't got nothing else better to do, especially
Right.
here in Maryland now at this point. uh, allegedly, it is alleged that she kills her millionaire husband and fed them to the lions, the tigers, and whatever else. Um,
There's oh my.
right, and she didn't. They didn't find his body. Never really found his body. She just said they just told her he died, and she didn't even wind up like having no kind of memorial service. She was just like she was looking out the window, reflecting, and next thing you know, it was dark outside, and I realized, oh, I must have been out of it. That was her whole memorial. Uh, however, she was able to capitalize on his assets and his estate and all that kind of stuff. So she made over. So my whole thing is, personally, I think she might have done it or had somebody, some accomplice, help her in
Right.
doing so. She realized that the chemical makeup of the cats, their how their stomach works, they'd be able to eat something and totally like dissolve in their stomach. Nothing pretty much would you know be left, and she went for it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That just made my stomach hurt.
I mean, I think something happened along those lines, allegedly, but I think
Wow.
something.
I
But
didn't think that was going to hit me. That made my stomach hurt.
yeah, I mean, it's other stuff that happens in this. Since I'm not giving away too much, but
Yeah, 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 yeah.
that part of it, I just like, girl, girl. And but my thing, even in looking at that and examining that, how easily somebody of that, and when people say, "Oh, there's no privilege," there is a privilege when you could easily just say somebody died.
Right.
I don't know. They disappear, and then they do their research or whatever. But as long as you stay kind of, oh, I don't know. I don't. I really can't tell. It's like, oh, okay, life moves on. Nobody really pays attention. People may ask questions, but they don't pry and they don't probe, not too much. And you could just go on as life as usual. On the other hand, we've seen plenty of stories where people say, hey, no, I didn't do this. And yet they had to sit in jail until it was time for them to actually stand in court. And
Right.
sometimes still wind up standing in court, get convicted, still in jail, and then come out and go, oh, I never did that. And then, by the way, now I'm suing the city, and the city doesn't want to pay, or the state doesn't want to pay me for falsely incarcerating me for years. So
Right.
I don't know, it's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit of a thing. Like, I mean, it's the same story that you guys always play. Somebody always gets away, and
Yeah.
it
And it
never
doesn't
works that
go
way.
that way, not in the movies and not in real life with people outside of a certain.
Demographic.
Yes. Thank you.
Hmm.
No, it's unfortunate, but those are the things that I'm talking about. Like, these conversations are not to segregate us, it's to help us to
Right.
unite
Yeah.
a bit
Definitely.
better so we can understand how we think, how we see things, why we see things the way that we do.
Right.
On both parties, on either party, it's not to the more we talk about things, I think that the more that comfortable we'll become, and
Mhm.
the more we'll be able to go to anybody and have that conversation. Like, what's wrong? Maybe
Mhm.
somebody doesn't like or is not fond of certain things because they're ignorant toward it, and not
Right.
ignorant toward it in a way that we use it in a street term, but they just don't know.
Mm.
So I
Yeah,
think that
lack of
sometimes.
knowledge in
Hmm?
essence. I said, well, ignorance is a lack of knowledge in essence. So,
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. Whew. Ignorance. Mm.
but
Another day, we're just going another day because that. Let's just say this: as long as you are, if there's something you don't know, you should educate yourself and
mm,
continually educate yourself. Your whole life should be about CEUs,
right,
continuing education credits, basically.
education,
And
education and credits.
yeah, you should continue to learn, continue to look at different people outside of yourself, different circumstances outside of yours, and bring light to them, and always be able to see yourself in someone else's shoes because Just because they're not your skin color, just because they didn't grow up like you did, doesn't mean that you can't identify with them. So I
Mhm.
think that's regardless of the privilege or regardless of what our preconceived notion about different situations are, we still have an obligation to bridge the gap.
Right.
So I think that that's something that we should all think about. Take a second and think about why people are the way that they are versus criticizing them for being like they are. Because you
Right.
might be able to change them, not change them, but open their mind
Open
to
their- Yeah,
different things.
definitely open their mind to something different. To enlighten. I like to say
Like
that.
that's all you can do.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, definitely. Right.
Knowledge is power. So
Bring it back.
grateful. So grateful.
Yeah.
Definitely. So yeah. You have something else?
No, I was really gonna. If anybody had a question, either you can call in with your question or um, shoot it on the message board. That's all I was
Yeah,
gonna do at
feel
this.
free to do so. The last thing that I'm going to speak on is another heavy one, but it's necessary considering the times that we are facing with this pandemic. We leave it there, but I want to talk about depression.
Okay. Well, I'll
And
wait to put that up then.
okay, depression. I'm not going to go too deep with this because I don't want to. Hold on for 1 minute.
Hmm.
Okay. So yeah, I don't want to get too deep into it, but if you want to discuss this further, please feel free to reach out to me. However, take the time to pay attention to yourself, how
Mm.
you're feeling, how you're thinking, how you're interacting in this, because what we're dealing with is life changing.
Right.
And sometimes the wrong sunlight, the wrong day, the wrong mood, too many days being in the house, not being connected with people, not touching with people, not physically being around people. All of that changes how we see, how we think, and how we feel. And that's something that I had to come to terms with myself. So I'm not preaching and teaching, I'm just sharing. Is that just pay attention. Depression can have a smile. Depression can look sad. Depression can be anything. So just be mindful to keep yourself engaged, to engage with other people, to get other people to also to engage with you, so that everyone is keeping some form of continuity of care going on in the middle of this, because we all really need to continue to reach out and continue the best of our lives that we can while we're going through this social distancing, because even the term social distancing can make someone sad because it does not sound fun. It sounds exactly what it means, socially distant.
Mm.
And some people are distant people. Like I'm kind of sort of a distant person, so I'm okay with someone being in
Me
the
too.
far distance from me. But some people are really, they need people, they need contact. So reach out to people, just check on people, old and young. Depression can even happen in kids, them not being able to go to school and be with their
Mhm.
friends, and, reach out to them, give them some freedom, don't make them so you got to do this, give them time to call their friends or video chat with their friends or whatever, because engagement is really important to helping us heal and cope with a lot of the things that we deal with every day.
Right. Well, a good thing to all of this compared to when we were growing up, the use of the internet is vast, and the way we can communicate and connect with one another is a lot different.
Yeah,
There's video chat, there's video group chat, there's all these
yeah,
different things to where in which we can still socialize.
right, right. That
So,
never happened back in the day on dial-up.
huh, huh. Now in my mother's house, she'd be on the phone like, "Okay, you've been on here 10 minutes too long.
Right, when you
Make
could
it quick.
talk through the line back then.
Make it quick." And then you'd be like,
Right,
"Hello," because I was about to hang it up altogether.
right, right.
I'm finished. I'm finished. Give me 5 minutes. Thanks. And you be waiting to hear the click to hang up before you say something else. Like,
You talking
I'm
about putting
almost.
salt in the game? Oh my gosh, they would throw so much salt in the game. It's no wonder that with dating anybody back then.
Please, my mother was holding the receiver button thing, thinking like you wouldn't hear it click. She'd
Right,
be like, "Could you hang the phone up completely, please?"
right. And then when you get off of the phone, you go downstairs to upstairs. Don't you tell me what to do. I pay for this phone. You don't tell me to hang up no phone. Like,
Right,
but you're being nosy. Get a
right,
life of
right.
your own.
Please, like, what are you doing?
I think, Patty Duke, that time alone is important, depending on how much you need to regroup. As we can lose ourselves in other people sometimes. We can lose ourselves in the world and in finances and situations. So I believe that it's important to go out, even if it's just doing your car ride to the store or whatever, a car ride home, for work. So I really think that that is important to spend time with yourself and do something specifically for you. Even
Right.
if you are married, it's important to still maintain an individuality in the midst of being happy with a spouse or a mate or a love interest or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's very important. Yeah, but mm-mm.
So grateful. I'm going to give you a pass because you were not here, but we are not allowing any speaking of that word or that term or that issue.
Nothing about it. So
So anybody who does that, we've
put an
instructed
X
them
in
to
the
put an
chat.
X in the chat. So hold on to that for a rainy day, even though it is raining here in Maryland right now. But
Right.
hold on to that for a rainy day. Copy and paste it and keep it for a day. But today we are
Right.
not
We're
allowed
not talking
any of
about it.
that
Um,
term
no.
to
We
be
try to
brought up.
switch the conversation a little bit. Granted, we know that it is very important. It is very dangerous that we do ask that we continue to follow the steps, um, doing that whole washing your hands and doing all that. But
Yeah.
we are on break.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're on break. If you do need education in the meantime, we do suggest that you look at the
This
politics and wellness from last week and all of Cap's videos about the pandemic ever since he
and
started for the last 2 weeks, maybe.
you can also go to the CDC's website.
Yes.
As soon as
CDC.gov, right?
Yes, as
Yeah.
soon as you click onto your YouTube channel or your YouTube period, the CDC box is right there, giving you the latest updates that they have coming directly from that department itself. So,
Yes.
um,
So we won't deny you of that part of the education, but we will deny you
today
anything further
on this here Tuesday,
on this here TV, on this land.
we are not talking about it on this island today.
Right. We are coasting far away.
Right, at least for a moment, for a
Yeah.
little break. I don't know what's wrong.
So come on, somebody,
Any
any
questions,
questions, anything
comments,
for myself
concerns,
or for Kat?
or just something you want to share?
Yeah.
We're here.
Um, how are you guys staying mentally well during
Right,
these troubling times? What are you guys doing to stay afloat? Um, don't mention the word and the thing that you
right,
stay afloat in the midst of those things. What do you name one thing that you're doing to maintain your individuality amidst all of this, everybody being grouped together?
right. Or any new books or good books, because I'm a I'm more of an audibler now.
Yeah,
But I like a good book because at least I can listen to it and do other stuff. I'm not like stuck flicking through the pages.
right, right.
Can visualize and do all that as I'm doing other stuff to be like, that really happened. That's crazy. And just
Yeah.
so
Well, one thing that I do, I was doing this way before this current issue, is you can download, if you don't have, I know it's popular, the puzzle game Wordscapes, and
okay.
you keep going different levels and you just keep going and going and going.
Mhm.
And it just it's helpful with entertainment. You can take it anywhere on your phone. It's just a pastime before you look up. You're learning new words or recalling words that you didn't think about that you
Mhm.
still know.
Yeah,
and it's just helpful educationally and mentally. It keeps your mind busy. You
yeah.
can use an hour doing that and not even think about it.
I've been coloring, okay, in adult coloring books, but
I like that.
coloring and um, was about, actually, although I've never done this, I was watching QB live one time this week, and he was actually painting, and I was like, oh, you know what? You can get a small, tiny group
Yeah,
of people I've already been around and do like a paint and sip or something, something to break it a little bit to
right,
get this,
right.
you know, to find fun things to do. Um,
I look at people's art when they paint, and I'm like, man, that was good. Can I do the same? Like they go to the sip and paints and stuff.
right.
And I'm just like, I know
I'm gonna have
I'm
to trace mine first. I'm gonna have to do a little
yeah,
skip.
I'm talented, but I freehanding, I
Right.
don't
With
know.
no kind of like, no, let's
Yeah,
get something first.
yeah. Detective shows, I do binge watch those too, Patty Duke. It's just intriguing. Crime TV, all kind of things. I probably watched all of them. I'm watching old shows now, old
Mm.
episodes because I've kind of watched all the ones that are up to date.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm not a really big like crimes watcher. Only like first 48, I
trying to kill you.
yeah, first 48 would be my only like really
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
then other maybe like maybe.
yeah.
Oh dang. Forgot your
Oh
color.
man.
I know that's messed up.
Well, I
But
really would suggest if you can order one offline and it can get to you in a short time, do that. But I wouldn't suggest going out if you don't have to. Try your best to limit going
yeah.
out. Here in Maryland, we are on a restricted operation anyway, where you're not supposed to be going out unless it's essential. So I don't think a coloring book patty dude would be essential.
Well, I
Sorry.
mean if you get it from the grocery store,
Well, yeah, that's true. But they've robbed the grocery
I'm
store of
sure.
everything,
Yeah, I'm sure.
so
Yeah.
it's probably
I'm
dust left.
Speaking of which, stop hoarding the stuff, okay? Pennsylvania is just they're about to put a law into effect for hoarders that you can't take the stuff back to the store. And this is to kind of stop people from hoarding and taking everything out of the store
Yeah.
in times like this.
It's
So,
it's unfortunate because I wish I knew what so many people could do with so much hand sanitizer. What are you drinking it? Like, what are you doing
right.
with
I mean,
eating toilet paper? What are you doing with it?
I don't know. I don't know. I find it very strange. And I'm really curious to know that, God forbid, when this, of course, when this is over and nobody else gets, it doesn't go too bad, um, God willing, of course, that people with all this stuff, like, I'm sure some people have like a whole basement full of this stuff. And you go to try to give it back, and they're like, no, we don't want it.
Right,
Costco's has already said they're not refunding that kind of stuff. I'm
right.
not sure if Sam Club and all the other
Most
big
of people
things.
aren't. They have said it, but they aren't. But I'll tell you what. Also, if you don't went out here and hoarded all this stuff, don't start selling those packages either,
Oh
because
yeah, they coming at you too.
yeah, I don't want your virus infected toilet paper and whatever with your germs on it. And we're not going there, but I'm just saying, just leave it where it is and let it stay like it is.
Yeah.
Um, Armand say he's been playing games, surfing YouTube, and growing vegetables in the near future.
Oh,
That
okay.
is smart,
Cool. Awesome.
and you don't need a lot of space
Thank you.
to do
Definitely.
it.
What's up?
Um,
Yeah.
it's really easy to do if you keep up with it and learn the right technique. My grandmother used to do it all the time in the backyard. Tomatoes,
Oh, okay.
cucumbers,
Yeah, my grandmother did too.
squash.
My grandmother did too. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, that's true, Nate. But people are it's almost like somebody, you see one, it's monkey see, monkey do. I did it, you do it, and now everybody's doing it because they're scared that there's going to be a shortage of the stuff. And like I said before last week, there's not a shortage of food. There's not a
Yeah.
shortage of paper because there are plenty of trees out. They're just keeping it. and dishing it out accordingly.
Yeah, and then people are using it to price gouge. So
Exactly.
people are saying like, oh, there's a shortage of hand sanitizer, so then now you're selling it on eBay for $100. And I mean the little thing, not
Right.
and
But
I mean you silly for buying it. 'Cause I
right.
would spend $100 on something like that. That I mean, it
I,
says it kills what 99 points, but are we sure that it? You know.
right. And I would just on top of that just wash my daggone hands before I go out here raking the streets for sanitizer. Strawberries are good to grow, but they always get attacked by the bugs though, Haitian. Like they strawberries are hard to keep a crop of.
And it always depends. You always get like a good batch, and then you could go back to the store and they'd be like, and you
Hmm.
a couple sour ones, and you like,
She talking about growing them though.
oh, I've never done that.
Yeah, they can grow in a small pot. You can grow them
Yeah,
on your
they can
balcony.
run a small play. I know that, but
Everybody like the not the birds, but normally the squirrels. It's a favorite because it's a sweet fruit. So everybody is just most people nowadays are not living month. Yeah, that is true, Nate, and it's unfortunate. It's situations like this when the month
excuse
to
me.
month stuff makes it hard for everybody because it's easy to get behind. Yeah, soap and water is the easier way. Not sure if it's quite better. It's the easier, more conventional way. But as long as you are killing the germs effectively, it's really not important which way you use.
Hmm. Yeah, very true. I'm thinking about starting in pots or small areas. Yeah, I mean, you do got to start small, so
Yeah, because you don't want to spend a lot of money on
seeds
product,
and things. Yeah.
and yeah, and if it's not successful because temperature and soil, all that stuff makes a difference. So if you're YouTubing that, then you should be good to go.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
squirrels do love the strawberries, Haitian.
I would know.
They and they'll be so little they'll barely blossom, and then they'll go in and eat them up.
You eat
So
them. Wow.
I don't know if you should maybe put peppers on them. I don't know how you can do it without that affecting the taste of the fruit. I'm not a
Mm.
guru on that. So,
Mm.
but I do want to
I would
start.
just grow it in like an encapsulated kind of thing with some wire or something. But
Well,
they
it has to
tiny.
be in a pot. Strawberries grows kind of, if I'm not mistaken, small. Or if they do, you have them. The problem is when it's not in the pot, it's too easily accessible. So when you put them
Mm.
down on the ground, they'll get eaten up. So it's tricky,
Mm.
but it's worth it when you get them. Things are so good, homegrown.
Wow, I've never done it. I'll try it one day. One day. Yeah. I mean, we've been on here for long enough. I think it's good. It's
Okay.
cool. Nobody wants to call in. Um, I will just shut this off.
Start them in the house until the temperature stabilizes. Okay, that makes sense. But how long can they stay in the house until the temperature stabilizes, Nate? I'm not
Mm.
doing it right now. I'm just curious. I want to wait until I have the time because right now I don't have the time to do it to keep up with them.
Mm. And then they gonna track like bugs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
I don't know about that. I ain't a fan of no
Bro,
bugs.
you're a bugazoid.
Bees and all that. I'd be like,
Right, right.
I ain't doing that.
To keep stuff away from them, but it's
Like beekeepers, total respect. Like, there's no way. First day, I'd be like, do what? I'll get the honey from the bee thing with that. No, that's not in my job description. But it is. That's what you signed up for. Oh, well, then this is my first and last day.
right,
Sorry.
right.
Because the first thing I
For
feel,
sure.
you can cancel Christmas, cancel birthday, everything. Just I'm
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Okay, Nate. Cool, cool. but that's going to be a while because right now we're still fluctuating a lot. I don't know what state you live in, but the temperature here in Maryland is just fluctuating. It's it's so hot and cold. I feel like I'm getting sick because the weather's making me.
Weather changing, right? Yeah, it's like it's real nice, and then towards night it's like cold, and you're like,
Like, yeah,
I mean, the only reason that it was cold a little earlier too is because of the rain or the coming of the rain, so
yeah,
it made the
yeah.
temperature drop a little bit more. But
It had a
yeah,
little
usually
bite
like
to it outside.
yeah,
Yeah, I definitely want to thank everybody for coming through. Um,
definitely.
we have really enjoyed you and feel like we got some good topics out there. So I thanks for the engagement. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, in Maryland, you still got a while, bro. How long are they going to last in the pot? I would just
Mhm.
have to wait until like the summer because I just don't trust it because even in the spring the weather's choppy. It's night and day. We skip spring, just go straight to summer here lately.
Yeah, being locked up in here, you will be to skip. You'll be to skip the stages of spring and be like,
You won't.
boom,
Right.
summer. We'd be sitting up there coming out of things like the characters in the Wiz.
No, we're gonna speak
Can't you
positivity.
feel a
It's,
brand new day? Can't you feel a brand new day?
we're gonna speak positivity in it, and it's gonna be
Yeah,
over.
that's what I'm saying. Everybody be in the street. Everybody wake up, because the sun is shining. Just so, yes, it is.
It's gonna the traffic is gonna be so stupid. It's gonna look like New York City, like
Bananas,
New Year's Eve.
bananas. Traffic is gonna be bananas.
Oh gosh. But if that's what it takes, I'm here for because I'll sit in some traffic at this point. I
Yeah, I
hate
know. I know people like, yeah, you do. But I know I will just sit in traffic.
I
Just
will
sit
sit
in
in
traffic.
traffic. I will, I promise you I will.
That's very random too. It feels nice. Oh
Yeah,
god,
I
should be
hope
nice.
so. Ohio weather to me is the equivalent of Maryland, just because of I think
Really?
Ohio's only about five, depending on which part, 5.5 hours away. So I would expect you guys to be getting the same.
Mm, yeah, pretty much.
Again,
Well,
appreciate
anyway, you guys, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with us on this episode of Politics and Wellness. Again, I am Captivating Christian and the co-host, Mr.
Mr. Credential.
Credentialed. Right. And again, if you guys want to shoot us emails, if there's stories that you come across that you feel might be something I can use, feel free to email me. Also, if you have any other questions, political or otherwise, I'll be sure to answer them if I can. And it's something geared towards more towards Mr. Credential. Don't feel no type of way. I will shoot him then the email, and he will then get back to you. As long as you leave some kind of um, correspondence email or something.
And same with me, or Cap, if it's something that is related to his topics that I may know about, but he would be better suited to answer the question, I would more than definitely get the information to him. So thank you guys. I'm glad that you enjoyed this, and we're going to try to break, unless it's absolutely necessary. We're going to try to break from speaking on that wretched thing for a little while anyway,
Right.
because we should be generally versed on it right now. And if we do speak about it, or if Cat speaks about it, it'll be on another realm. But right now, it's just we need some joy. We need something to laugh about, smile about, talk about the things that are going on outside of this because there are still many things happening
Right.
outside of
Very.
this. So don't let it cloud your vision. But be encouraged and know that if you take the right precautions, that you and your family and your friends can get through this if you guys listen to the advice that is being spread.
Right. And please also make sure you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. It works with the algorithm, helps get the video out here so more people can be aware and tune in and watch and grow and learn. So do that. Share it as well. That also helps. So if you can, that would be greatly appreciated. Other than that, that's all I have. Once again, thank you guys for coming out. And in the words of Russell Simmons, God bless and good night. And we're out.